Welcome back, everybody. This is Eric and Chad here with Iraq Veteran 8888, and we've got another Gun Gripe episode for you today. And in light of recent events, we'd like to discuss some things that can be done about shootings. Okay, mass shootings. I want to focus on strategy, and I want to focus on answers, right? Because everybody gets thrown into a rhetoric of, you know, more laws, all this and that, and they want to turn it into a giant emotional debate. And everybody on each side wants to have this perceived moral high ground. I'm right. No, I'm right. Or no, we need to do this. No, we need to do that. What I will provide is some solutions in this video that maybe some of you can maybe enlighten yourselves a little bit with. And this is just our opinions, of course. But, you know, the thing is, there are a lot of different people in our society. And we are a large mixing bowl of different cultures in this country. And there's a lot of different people and a lot of different viewpoints and everything like that. You're never going to get around that, okay? And there are a heck of a lot of guns in this country in circulation. They're not going anywhere, okay? So we've got the tools, we've got the people. Well, a tool is only as good as the person that uses it, or as bad as the person that uses it. So earlier, I would say a couple of days ago here, Trump made a couple of statements, you know, discussing that, you know, he was going to go after mental health as being a really big issue, and he really wanted to get more mental health laws on the books. I will give him a little bit of credit that at least he is recognizing the fact that this is a people problem and not a gun problem. Okay, first and foremost, I think it's important to at least give him a little bit of credit there. Now, there's obviously been a lot of things that Trump has said that we don't agree with. And there are a lot of things that he's done and said that we can definitely give him some kudos for. So I will say this. Gun-free zones definitely kill people.
Yeah, they do.
That is a tried and true statement. All of these shootings, the things that they commonly have in connection with each other is they're usually in a gun-free zone.
Mm-hmm. Soft targets.
Soft targets.
I mean, bottom line, it's a soft target. I mean, you don't see these shootings going on in a police department, or, you know, a military installation, or some other facility that has armed security, or whatever the case is. It's always public places with no apparent security measures in place whatsoever, and there's sometimes no threat from concealed carry permit holders or anything like that in the general area for the most part, it seems. I mean, it's just... It's ridiculous.
They choose gun-free zones because there's a lot of people in one area that are easy targets, and they're unarmed, and they know that you're unarmed. If you have a giant sign that says no guns allowed, and then you hurdle 500 people into an area, well, guess what? That's like chickens in a pen, fresh for the wolf to take the picking. So we need to do away with gun-free zones, and we've been saying this for years, right? This isn't something new. This isn't some bandstanding that we're taking as a position as a result of recent events. All we're doing is re-solidifying the things that we've already said to you guys over a course of many, many years. Even back when Barry and I were doing Gun Gripes together, we've been telling people from day one that gun-free zones are a terrible idea, and it creates a victim mentality, and it creates a space where victims can be made. And that's precisely what happened. So doing away with gun-free zones, I think, is a really important, crucial first step. All right, 2. There's no metal detectors going into Walmart. There's no guard that checks you to see if you're carrying a gun going into Walmart. Now, there might be a sign that says you can't carry a gun, but in a lot of states, that's not a legal justification for you to not have, you know, carry your weapon in there. People need to carry concealed. Carry your dang gun. Get your permit and carry. People aren't carrying. And I find it hard to believe that they said there was, some 500 some odd people in this place, and that no one was carrying. Nobody engaged the shooter. I mean, for one, that makes gun owners look bad, because Texas is supposed to be this state of, oh, everybody, you know, don't mess with Texas and all this. And now, granted, it's a border town. But the thing is, guys, carry. Everybody needs to carry. An armed society is a polite society. No gun-free zones. Everybody needs to carry. I mean, I don't understand how hard it is to take a little bit of an investment of time and effort to save your life, or to save someone else. Your life might not be immediately in danger, but you might be able to help somebody else. Now, there was that one soldier that was, I guess, an off-duty soldier, was helping some of the kids and everything get to safety, and he was unarmed. off duty, but unarmed. But he ran towards the danger, not away.
Yeah.
So there is a mentality there that people want to help. They want to do the right thing. They want, they will put themselves in harm's way for each other. But what if he would have been carrying? Not to downplay his actions, but it's always if a gunfight might occur, bring a gun.
It's always the case where it's always what if. You have no idea what you would do in a situation like that. You can have all the training, and everything, and you can have the right mindset for it, but until the situation occurs, you don't know what's going to happen. We've seen instances before where there's been folks that go into a public place and they try to shoot the place up, and somebody tries to be brave who's very untrained, and they wind up getting killed over it. Not analyzing the entire situation that's going on, not noticing there might be another shooter or whatever, and they pay the price for it. Their actions are valiant, yes, but could they have done better if they would have had more training? Yes, obviously. But Eric mentioned that obviously El Paso was border town, and I find it very ironic that one thing I read the other day was that the Mexican president, I believe, wanted to sue the United States of America for the death of Mexican citizens in that event. And the irony that I see in that is all the Mexican citizens that die every day by the drug cartels and all the problems in Mexico. I find it very ironic, and maybe I'm the only one who sees that, but I would like to think not.
And a little unfair too.
Very unfair.
It's unfair to be painted with that brush. So let's also talk a little bit about statistics. Like one of the really big talking points right now that's super hot. It's like one of the hottest talking points on Twitter right now is Neil Tyson's statement about statistics, about death statistics, and it's not an emotional response. It's just simple facts where he discusses, the statistics of how Americans die every single day, or in this case 48 hours. Because one of the arguments that was made there was, in the last 48 hours, X amount of people have been killed as a result of mass shootings. Okay, well, a mass shooting only has to be 4 or more people to be considered mass shooting. Well, there's mass shootings every single day in Chicago. All right, and Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws in the entire country. In fact, Chicago is a city that is used all the time as sort of a template for what type of gun control that the left and all the antis want to have, and all the rest of the states, right? They use Chicago as an example. Well, if Chicago is an example, I don't want that, because it's a lot of people. When you look at the daily amount of people that are physically killed and or shot in Chicago, it makes these shootings look like just a minor inconvenience. Now, they're tragic, of course, and no one should want to see the loss of human life, and we want to preserve life. That's the point of being a gun owner, is to preserve life. And I think that as a society, we've jumped down this really dangerous rabbit hole of saying, we don't want to talk about guns. It should be taboo to discuss firearms. It should be taboo to learn about firearms, to get proficiency in firearms. Basically, we've been conditioned collectively, especially the younger generation, to say, anything that's related to a gun is bad.
Well, we don't need guns in modern society. We're a civilized nation. We don't need firearms. That's what the mentality is.
Right. So when you create a situation where you try to drive morbid fear of guns into the mainstay of the populace's mind, what ends up happening is people are scared to talk about it. Okay, and that's the issue. And when we say they're scared to talk about it, it becomes an issue where people say, I'm not afraid to say guns are horrible and I think they should be banned. That's a talking point that is encouraged. We should ban semi-automatics. In the wake of this, we should ban semi-automatics. We should do this. We should do that. It's easy to just throw that particular right under the bus because that's what you've been conditioned to do. Mm-hmm. Rarely in today's society are people encouraged to really question the narrative. Yeah. Okay, and the narrative is always anti-gun. Yet there's not a pro-gun area in there that is allowed to surface and be a part of the conversation. So when people like us are pushed to the wayside, we're censored on YouTube a lot. Our videos get demonetized on YouTube constantly. This one's probably demonetized. And we have no way to discuss it with YouTube or to deal with it with YouTube directly. And not to change the subject, not to go on into a different thing, but when gun owners are pushed to the wayside, actual gun owners, the actual people that really own guns and reach gun owners, this is a gun channel. We deal with guns, we shoot guns, we educate people about guns, we talk about guns. Guys, it's a gun channel. When you have 2.2 million people that follow this channel, right, and our voices aren't valid enough at 2.2 million people following our channel as a gun channel, I think it's safe to say that some people care about what we have to say. But when that voice doesn't matter and gets pushed to the wayside and it's not a part of the conversation, we're not on Fox News, we're not on USA Today, we're not on CNN, we're not, getting to go on and argue the point of the Second Amendment. When we're excluded from the conversation, and I'm not saying us specifically, but people like us are excluded from the conversation, you're going to create an environment where, of course, people are going to hate guns, and they're going to think that getting rid of guns is the answer, and they're not going to care to even hear the point of someone who might be pro-gun because they've been conditioned to think, oh, well, only people are pro-gun, just want to hurt people, and that's it, and that's the only common denominator. So that sort of takes this whole conversation full circle with Trump's statements about, oh, well, the internet caused this. We should take a look at what the internet does to our society to cause these types of events. Excuse me? The internet? That's a pretty broad statement.
I mean, I would argue the fact that Hollywood has a lot more to do with sensationalizing violence than the internet has.
I mean, the internet is a very broad statement. Do you realize how much data is on the internet, what's out there, what we do on the internet? That's a very broad statement.
It is.
I'd like some clarification on what he means by that.
Well, one thing about Neil deGrasse Tyson's statement, his Twitter statement or whatever, he got a lot of flack for it, obviously, and people were giving the counter argument that, oh, well, all these other things that he mentioned, medical malpractice, car accidents, stuff, they are being worked to be prevented, or there's steps that are being made to reduce those casualties. Okay, well that's all fine and dandy. What's going on with firearms to reduce mass shootings and such? Oh, well, new laws. We just need new laws, right? No, because the laws that are on the books are already being broken. New laws are not going to change.
20,000 plus laws.
I thought
on
it
the
was
books.
40,000, maybe. Yeah, it's one of the two.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of laws
that have no bearing on everyday gun owners' lives at all. But you want to know how to prevent mass shootings is have more firearms in these places that are soft targets. Like Eric said, get rid of gun-free zones. More guns equals less crime. There's a statistic for you. You can find it all over the place. You can go to the FBI's website and you can find the statistics on gun violence per capita in places with low gun ownership and places with high gun ownership. And the difference is pretty stark.
A disturbing paradigm shift that we're seeing in not only the social media realm, but just media in general, mainstream media, is just the complete ignoring of facts. And that's the issue. Facts are what they are. I hear this, oh, those are your facts. Well, what do you mean your facts?
Yeah.
The facts are the facts. And now we've done a video on that already where we discussed that. But that's the other issue. Another way that we can prevent these things is, guys, we have to look at the data. Let the data dictate everything that we do. The data doesn't lie, okay? And when you have confirmed data that the assault weapons ban, now it's obviously, 91 was when they did the assault weapons ban?
94.
94. The 94 assault weapons ban, it's sunsetted, okay? And all of that data they collected showed that, it didn't really do crap. So why are all these people calling for another assault weapons ban? Oh, we need to ban assault weapons. Well, the data's already there. Like, why don't you save yourself a lot of trouble and just look at the data?
Hey, but they didn't do it right the first time.
They didn't do it right the first time. Yeah. So the issue is when we ignore facts and when we ignore statistics, it makes us a really dumbed down and moronic society. And that's the bottom line. We have to look at this thing with a calm head, and we have to look at the facts. Yes, tragedies are horrible. It really, really sucks to look at the big picture, and none of us want to see people get hurt. And I think that's another, big common misconception about gun owners. People think, oh, well, gun owners don't care about anybody. All they care about is their guns. That's completely untrue. The gun owners of this country are honest, straightforward people that care about their communities. We want to see the world safe. We spread all of this knowledge on the channel because we want people to arm themselves, to be safe, to protect their families, to protect their neighborhoods, to be armed when some crazy person does something. You can deal with the situation and eliminate the threat. I mean, that's been the cornerstone of why our channel exists from day one, is to educate people, to make them want to be gun owners, okay? And that's a very important thing. So
we see it every day too. Just about every day we'll get some sort of email or a message, or there'll be a comment. It's like, hey, I was anti-gun before, and I've seen a bunch of you guys' videos, and I went and got a gun and got trained and stuff. I got my CCW. We see that kind of stuff all the time. And my brother-in-law lives in Texas, and he's what I would consider kind of a uber liberal. He's not really anti-gun, but he's not like he's not a big gun person. He just doesn't really think that he needs guns. But now he's considering it. He says, this stuff is getting crazy. I think that I want to get a gun. And he's got a Marine buddy out there. He said, yeah, he's going to teach me how to shoot it and stuff like that. And he's calling me and asking me questions about which gun's best and all this. We see that stuff every day. Every single day. There's people that are kind of coming to the right mind and saying, you know what, I think that I need to protect myself, because it is a natural right of self-preservation. It is your right, natural, God-given, whatever you want to call it. You have a right to self-preservation. There's nothing that gives anyone the right to harm you. And if you don't have the tools at your disposal to thwart that potential harm, then what are we doing?
Not only if you don't have the tools at your disposal, but if people try to take the tools from your disposal, then you're just left in the open. So I didn't want this video to jump around in too many different areas, but all right, so first we discussed getting rid of gun-free zones. Mm-hmm. I think that's a very important first step. Everybody needs to carry. I'm going to go even further and say that we need nationwide constitutional carry.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to carry a gun anywhere you want. And conceal it. Don't let nobody know you have it. And go about your business.
Oh, but it'll be like the Wild West again. Oh, there'll be shootings in the street. Oh my God, mass pandemonium. Oh!
No more gun-free zones. Nationwide constitutional carry. I want armed teachers, designated armed teachers in the schools to protect our children.
And I want it well known.
You've got guards in the bank to protect your money, right? No one bats an eye at it, right? Everybody goes into the bank, conducts their business. The guard in the corner tips his hat when you leave, and no one thinks a thing about it. No one thinks a thing about it. You'll protect your wealth with a guard at the bank, but you won't protect your kids with a guard at the school. That needs to change. Yeah. Look at Israel. Israel has armed teachers because the world is what it is.
Yeah.
And the violence in schools, you never hear about it because they have armed teachers. Guys, we've got to arm our teachers, and we've got to give them the training they need, and have certain people that you select to do it. Now look, if there's a teacher in the school system that says, oh, I don't know about that, and she's scared, don't make her do it. She don't got to do it. But have people within that school that you trust, former military, maybe they're a former policeman, or maybe they have some military experience, or maybe they're just an enthusiast. Find those people within your organization, give them some training, and put a really robust, good safe or whatever inside of the classroom. And don't let the kids know about it. Keep it a secret.
Look,
don't tell them.
All right,
put it somewhere really, really secret.
All right, so just kind of on the same subject real quick before you continue. All right, so a lot of people say, oh, well, we don't have the money to put a cop in every school or whatever on a daily basis, this, that, and the other. And there's all these ideas. Oh, well, let's get retired law enforcement. Let's get retired military or whatever to do it. All right, so in my county, we have this thing called SPLOST. All right, it's a special purpose local option sales tax. It's a common thing all over the country in various municipalities. All right, well, we're going to be voting this year on an increase, another penny increase, not for roads or transportation projects, not for public things that really enhance the public's good, okay, traveling around the county. They want to use that money to build community pools in certain areas and stuff that are only driven toward one particular community or whatever the case is. I'm not interested in taking my kids to some public pool. I have no interest in that. It doesn't do me any good. How about we use that extra penny to put more security in schools and make it known that these schools are not a soft target, and you are not going to go there, and you're not going to live to tell the tale.
That's right.
You know, but there's ways to do this. You know, with things like SPLOST and all that. But the bureaucrats in my county want to just buy votes with that money. That's really the big thing. I won't even get into the entire subject, but it's very frustrating.
They're buying votes, all right.
To see that kind of crap. But anyways,
so yeah, no more gun-free zones. National carry, national constitutional carry everywhere. Armed teachers in our schools who are trained and are good to go. And I think some other incentives would be nice too, you know. Maybe and y'all can let me know what you think about this idea. And guys, I'm spitballing here. I'm not even saying that these are the answers that are just the thing we have to do. These are just ideas, right? Because when something happens, we want solutions, right? I'm trying to provide a solution. So just please bear with me here. I know this is a long video, but we're discussing this, and it's what adults do. Something bad happens, how do we prevent this from happening again? That's what this video is about, right? We want to save people, not hurt people. Another thing that I think would be good is maybe the government could offer like tax incentives on like a gun safe purchase. Okay, if you buy a lockable truck box or a Lear locker or something like that, like a lockable safe in your truck or vehicle, if you buy a gun safe or a vault door or anything that's related to securing your firearms for your home, they ought to give you a tax break. You get a tax break for buying like super uber energy efficient AC units, right?
Cars,
so they can't give you a bit of a tax break for, protecting, your home and protecting your valuables, right? Maybe the insurance companies could step up and say, look, if you are a gun owner or whatever, you have an insurance policy with us, even if it's just a home insurance policy or whatever, or any policy, we're going to give you a standing, even if it's 2 or 3 points or 5%, something. We're going to give you a 5% discount if you have a storage container in your home that can be locked. Now, and look, that can go across the board of securing your computer, your laptop, your jewelry and gold or silver or guns or any valuable, right? I mean, it's safe to say that everybody has valuables, and a safe is probably one of the most passive ways that you can protect your belongings from falling into the wrong hands. I mean, let's face it, there are a lot of guns out there, and people should take an effort to make sure that they secure their belongings where people can't get a hold of them. I think that's just common sense.
The problem is that most insurers, if you have firearms or whatever, they want to charge you more because it's a liability.
Right.
Bullcrap.
But again,
like
it's an aspect of our society where people just honestly, they want to point the finger at the gun owner and select the gun owner as the immediate problem. Anytime a gun's involved, there's this shunning that occurs. And that needs to stop. Society needs to accept the fact that guns are out there, and they need to find ways to work with gun owners to come up with smart and intelligent solutions to protect each other. Herding a bunch of people into a place unarmed is not smart. We can all agree, right? And the thing is everybody wants to make this all about, and you know what? I'm not even going to discuss the details of this event because it's not worth mentioning. And I'm not saying it's not worth mentioning from the standpoint of it's not worth talking about. It's not worth dramatizing this person and giving them fame. That's irrelevant. I don't want to do that. And that's another thing. That's another talking point, Chad. Why don't you hit on this?
The media sensationalizes these people. And we saw clearly that this was kind of a copycat thing that happened in El Paso. I mean, it really was. And the guy even admitted it, that it was a copycat. Okay?
He even admitted that he chose the place he chose because it was a soft target. Hello?
So, when the media spreads, they disseminate all this information out there. And then somebody sees it and they're like, man, I think I'm going to do something like that. Because they're sensationalizing it. They're making these people famous, like movie stars. Their names are going to live in infamy. No, they need to be buried and forgotten. And that's it. They need to be wiped out of the history books.
What we need to remember is the solution that their crime provided to us.
Well,
it is a solution because we learn. When things happen, we learn and we figure it out and we move forward.
The thing is, the media sensationalizes it and they use it to drive the anti-gun narrative. That's all it's for. It's just to get people's emotions on the wire. You know, and just get people out of their logical thinking patterns and just get them based purely on emotions, like we need new laws. And then all the representatives, well, supposedly they represent us, but I haven't found any in my area that are representing me very well lately. I don't know about y'all, but, you know, these reps, these politicians, they get on the bandwagon. And then it's all about, oh, we need new gun laws. Oh, we need to ban this gun because one guy, 2 guys, 3 guys, whatever, use, you know, minuscule percentage of the firearms that are out there to commit these heinous crimes. And you're going to blame every other firearm owner out there for these crimes, and you're going to blame the tools that they used.
It's so bad, too, because, I mean, you know, right now, the antis are calling for Trump to use executive action on gun control because Congress isn't in session. See, that's the issue. They can't just go, oh, let's call an emergency session and let's discuss this and let's push it through. So they have to capitalize on something quickly before people start to logically approach the situation. What we're calling for in this video is for you to use logic, not emotion. Now, here's the issue, too. This is another talking point that we'll just briefly touch on that I feel is important, too, is that everybody always, you know, goes on the gun pages and trolls us and, you know, whatever. They come on our Instagram page and they say, oh, well, you guys are just trying to politicize something to further the pro-gun goal. Okay, but then you look at the media, who is the mainstream media, who we are not represented in. Like, we don't get to go talk on Bill Mayer. We don't get to go talk on the late night shows and discuss current events and give our perspective. We don't get to go hang out with Joe Rogan and discuss stuff to his millions of followers. We don't get to go on Fox News and we don't get to go on the mainstream. So we're not included in the conversation. But yet we're pushing a goal. We're pushing, you know, a motive to this whole thing. We're pushing a, you know, political talking point when they're doing it on national television to millions and millions of people, but yet me simply asserting that I'm defending what's already there, what belongs to me, what can't be taken from me, I'm defending it. And yet I'm pushing a political narrative.
I mean, why?
That's the issue. We're not included in the talk.
Why is it that my rights have to be politicized? We're not politicizing our rights. We're on the offense here.
Right.
Or I'm sorry, we're on the defensive here.
Correct.
Yeah, we're on the defensive here. You know, the anti-gunners are politicizing the Second Amendment, trying to take it away from us. But it's a constitutionally guaranteed right. It can't be taken away. Yeah. It's just like politicizing freedom of speech with all this talk about hate speech and stuff. And that's a whole other can of worms. But
we're going to get into that in a future video.
It's the same idea. But we're just defending what's ours because we're being put on the defense. It's not by choice. We're being put on the defense on a daily basis, every single day. We have to prove the point that, you know, gun ownership is good, and we have to explain it on a daily basis to people because gun ownership is taboo. You know, carrying a firearm in public is taboo because we're a modern society. You don't need to carry a gun.
But I spend hours every single day on Instagram just trying to spread the message, the positive messages of firearms ownership. So I could go on about a 20-minute tirade about survivorship bias, okay, and discuss that science. We probably don't have time for that.
That's another video.
It is another video, but I will say during World War II, okay, they were losing a lot of bombers. All right, bombers were getting shot down on bombing runs. You know, because those planes are slow, right? They're very slow. They're easy targets. They were easy to shoot down. So during World War II, these bombers were getting shot down. Like, man, what can we do? What in the world can we do to help these bombers survive and maybe increase the amount of bombers that come back from bombing runs? I mean, not only are bombers expensive, but we're losing our soldiers and airmen. I mean, what can we do about this? So they brought in this scientist, right? And the scientist was like, okay, I see you up-armored the plane here, 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 and here. Okay, cool. That's fine. It's like, let's go through the yard and let's take a look at some of these planes that made it back. Okay? So survivorship bias is totally related to the subject because people are very quick to look at the very, very obvious solution to them without getting all the facts. All right, so what did this scientist do? He's actually a mathematician. His name slips my mind, but you can look it up. This mathematician, he wasn't even a scientist. He was a mathematician who studied statistics and data. All right, so he goes to the bomb yard, and they're like, yeah, well, we armored this up, we armored that up, and man, the planes are still getting shot down. We don't get it. These planes are coming back, and they've got holes here and here and here in them, bullet holes, and we're armoring up where the holes are, and the planes still aren't coming back. So, survivorship bias. We think because the planes come back with all these holes in them, we should up-armor it there. No. You need to up-armor the planes where the holes aren't. So what they ended up finding out was the reason the planes made it back is because of where they got shot. Not that they needed to be up-armored where they were shot. They made it back because they survived getting shot in that area of the plane. So then they started thinking, well, wait a minute, we're thinking about this totally wrong. Let's up-armor where the bullet holes aren't. Mm-hmm. They did, and more planes started coming back. Survivorship bias is a serious thing, and that's the issue that we run into with these shootings. We think, okay, we made it out alive. What can we do? You always think about the solution that's just instantly in front of you. Mm-hmm. The solution to a lot of these antis is, we have to ban assault weapons. We have to, take guns away. We have to confiscate and, all of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Confiscate guns. That's the obvious choice to them. All we're saying in this video is there are very meaningful and impactful solutions that can help both of our causes, both of our sides. And I want it to be known in this video that I'm a very pro-gun guy. I love the Second Amendment. I love my country. I love my citizens. I would protect any of y'all. And I don't care if you're a Democrat, Republican, none of that matters to me. I would protect any of you at an instant if I had to, or if I was put in a position where I needed to. The gun owners of this country are not the enemy of the people. We are the people. We are you. We are your neighbors and everything like that. So it's important for people to take the blinders off and look at the facts and understand that there's a lot of things that we can do that are actually really passive things that don't infringe on people's rights. Okay, you're not taking people's property and getting into red flag territory, which we're going to discuss in a future video. You're not getting into all of these things. You're not taking people's property away. You're not depriving people of their constitutional rights. You're not encroaching on liberty. These are passive things that are relatively cheap to implement. But we just won't do it because of the concept of survivorship bias. We think that the solutions that we want are the only solution and that we won't look at all of the potential solutions. And it's a bad state of affairs that we have to deal with. And I'm not saying it's the only answer, but I'm saying look at the big picture.
All one needs to do is use a little common sense. You think about these antis. This is the last thing I'll say. We're gonna get out of here, but these antis, they just want the Second Amendment just totally out of here. They want it obliterated. They want it gone. Okay. You look at countries where the government is encroaching on their livelihood. Like the most recent example I can think of is all the pressure that Beijing is putting on Hong Kong, which is a sovereign entity south of China. Okay. It was under British rule until 1997. Now they're their own sovereign entity. Well, China wants it. They want it bad. So there's all kinds of protests and stuff going on in Hong Kong right now.
They want the right to bear arms.
They don't have that. So
they're calling for the right to bear arms.
They have no defense against government encroachment, government tyranny. And that crap over there is interesting to see. It's definitely going to come to a head.
Yeah.
Soon,
they are begging for an amendment that gives them the ability that we have to protect ourselves. Yeah. Guys,
it's a natural
you have to understand it's a natural right. Government does not grant this right. Understand that. You're born with it. You can't be taken away. Just think about it is all we're asking. And we just, wanted to make this video sort of to discuss it a bit and just sort of, I didn't really want to have like notes prepared. I really wanted to just go about this in a logical discussion type format where he and I could just spitball some ideas. We care deeply about the people in this country. We want everybody to be safe, including you. Even if you're an anti-gunner watching this and you're like, gritting your teeth at us, we want you to be safe. We don't want you to be hurt. We want to protect you. We want you to be able to protect yourself. We want you to want to protect yourself.
The thing is, you got to help yourself. Bottom line. I mean, we can only help you so much. You have to help yourself.
Agreed.
You know,
guys, just keep your head on the swivel. You know what I mean? Don't let complacency take over your life. Yeah. I mean, and look, we're all guilty of it, man. We're all guilty of keeping our faces in these phones. Now, I have to do it because I'm doing all the Instagram and Facebook stuff and everything like that,
You're not going to see me walking around Walmart or somewhere unarmed with my face in my phone, completely oblivious to the situation around me. When I park at a place like that, and I don't go to malls. I will not take my family to a mall. I won't. I refuse to. But fact of life is I got to go to Walmart every now and again because I like saving a little bit of money. Okay, so
let's face it.
But you won't catch me going to Walmart unarmed with my face in my phone and not looking around the parking lot and make sure there ain't nothing stupid going on, whatever the case is, before I enter that place. And if you frequent a place like that, know where the exits are. If you're not going to carry a gun, know how to get the heck out of there. Common sense.
Yeah.
When something happens, everybody just freaks out and they lose all thought, all cognition whatsoever. They have no idea what to do. It's like a deer in headlights. Think about things. Prepare yourself. Get a gun. Get trained. Use a little common sense.
Protect each other.
We could keep going and going and going.
Take a vested interest in your fellow man. Think about your fellow man every now and then. Think about yourself and think about your fellow man, and you'll find that you get a long way in life. So guys, have yourselves a great day. We really appreciate you listening to us. We care deeply about our viewers, our subscribers. We care deeply about anybody who's willing to listen. We want you to live in liberty and to be safe and to be protected and to help yourselves and help your community. And we want to rid our country of these horrible events just as much as you do. We just have a difference of opinion on the solutions. And that's hopefully this video gave you some food for thought. And we're going to leave on a lighter note. Okay, now I haven't even asked him this yet because I don't want I don't want him to be able to say no on camera.
It's not about a mullet, is it?
It is about a mullet, actually.
God.
So 22 Plingster posted a picture on Instagram the other day about Stranger Things. This kid's got the dang hairdos.
Well, actually, I was texting him last night. He texted me about it, and then the next thing I know, he says, check Instagram. I'm like,
you need to put your hair in a mullet. All right, now, likewise, he needs to put his hair in a mullet. I shaved mine.
Well, you didn't shave it all the way.
I shaved a lot of it off. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, I'll get the
Yin and yang
look.
here.
I'll get the ferret faucet spray like Steve, 3 squirts, and I'll make it into something for the next video, I guess.
All right.
See.
Good.
I'm not cutting it though, but I'll do something else with it.
You need to get your hair did.
My hair did?
Yeah, they're calling you the tactical Ronald McDonald.
That's okay.
Can we get you a Ronald McDonald costume for a video?
Oh, Lordy. Do I have a choice?
Nope.
I didn't think so.
All right, guys.
Oh,
live in liberty. That's all we're asking. Live in liberty. That's what we want for everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Many more videos on the way. Thank you for listening.
See you guys.